KEMPER PROFILER Tones and Talks. Wah wah country, welcome. Hello, Thomas Dill.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm pretty happy about this thing here. And because it's brand new and it keeps sort of the tuning, because it just left its egg, came into the world. Yeah, Wawa country, we've been touching a lot of basic aspects of Wawa tones and various makes and how to engage it and how to control it with various pedals generally in the last episode. And today we want to get a little bit more into the tone. So, stop at heel at this point. And yeah, let's just cover some of the basic and well-known but very diverse tones and aspects of wahs, because they are the classics and there have been a lot of variations of it, and what they are, where they're from and why they are, we try to cover today, and also the creative aspects of what to do with it.
Yeah, so a friend of mine asked me, he wanted to use the wah from the profiler, and he was a little bit, scary, because he said, he told me then, I turned the wah on and there were parameters, I didn't know what to do with, because I'm using the Crybaby, and this has on and off. And so if you are also a little bit scared about these parameters that you might not know, there is one advice to do. Just take one preset and you'll be done. So, and we start with all that stuff, going to the rig manager. So when you turn the wah on and you see the parameters, you have manual, peak, pedal range, peak range, mix, stacking, volume. So nothing that the most wah pedals have, but these are very nice to have. I come to that later. And the easiest thing, that's what I told my friend, is going to the wah section, load a preset, and here are all the presets that are available from the profiler or the rig manager. These are the presets that I made that are in the profiler stored now, but normally you get these factory presets here down there. And there is the one Cry, which is the Crybaby sound. So you see here when I'm moving the pedal with the morph slider, and this is how the Cry pedal sound with a clean sound. Now I'm switching over to the next one, just to give you something how different they sound. Now Cry Red. Next one. Let's take the CAE. Another one. Old Box. And for the horse fans, we have this one. And so on. I don't want to bore you with all these settings, all these stuff, but as you can see,
we can sense a trend when we listen to that.
Yeah. As you can hear, the differences are not that big. So this is just small adjustments, between those settings, some are more, but you have a very broad range to adjust your wah sounds. But these settings, these presets are modeled or set after those classic pedals. And I have the RMC10. This is the custom thing, real McCoy wah, and they model it after that wah, and it sounds really incredible, even to the real pedal. And it works when you have the right pedal range. It works really fine. So I don't need that pedal on the profiler board now. So and another thing with the Bad Horsey or other stuff, they do sound different when you have an overdrive tone. So then there is maybe more difference between the sound and how it works. So I will come to that later. But yeah, so you have these settings, and it's the easiest way. Just check out one preset, take the next one, take the next one. If it works for you, it's fine. If it doesn't work for you, then you have the opportunity to, yeah, do some fine tuning. And yes,
but also generally it helps if you want to get into adjusting. Take into consideration a lot of plays into this whole scenario by the fact that you're using different pickups, maybe.
yes,
So if you have a very low output single coil pickup that has a different sweet spot tonally frequency wise, this Q point, than for example a humbucker.
yeah,
And of course a tele has a different how would you call it? Q point. This
sharpness.
peak point and the sharpness compared to a Les Paul, for example. So these have a huge impact on how the wah filter works and the kind of tone it shapes. Plus, of course, the distortion, because when you have some filters dialed in for the distortion, use the tone level, that has also a big impact on the wah sound. So when you try to edit the wah, try to find a, how would you call it, maybe a clean, defined situation, because if you change too many things at the same time, you very much get lost in translation and delivery.
Yeah. So for me, the first time adjusting the wah was really hard stuff, because the range that you can adjust is very huge. So from really these tones to absolutely sharp tones that only my dog can hear. And so, it's really a wide range of setup that you can use. But also, as you mentioned, if you have a tele, and the problem always with the crybaby I have with a tele, let's say I'm playing the tele with a crybaby to a Vox amp, and then go to the toe position.
You die.
Yeah, it's incredible. So this is something to think about. And also, the amp type is very, because of the profiles are reacting very, fine on all these stuff of volume pot on the guitar, the tone pot, and especially the wah. So you need to adjust everything, like you want to. For me, it's always start with the crybaby, let's see what's happened, and then checking out the heel position, the toe position. Is it fine? Then how is the Q factor? So this is for me very important. And then how is the range going? So some people like to have it really fine-tuned, and it's going so wah. So this one, and some people don't care, it's wah. So this heavy happening from, or switching from the low sound to the bright sound. So yeah, I will take over with the rig manager and we have a look at all this stuff. So the main parameters for me is manual and the peak range, the pedal range. So first of all, manual, this is, I take the cry setting. So we have the cry baby setting. The heel sound is this one, and the toe sound is this one. Between, nice wah wah Q factor. So with the manual parameter, you set the tone at the heel position. So that means I'm in the heel position now. You see it here with the slider. If I turn it down a little bit, now it's getting bright when you go over the 5 mark. Very much. And then it's going over. So setting the manual at, in the Crybaby, it's at 3.6. So these are the settings work for the common wah sounds. And the pedal range determines how far the range is going from starting from this point. So if you have 3.6, this one, and you just have the range at 0, nothing happens really. Turning the range up, oh, sorry for that, it's morph and bar. Turning the range at, yeah, let's say 20. You get this wah effect. So between 0 and 20, there's a lot. And then going further at, yeah, let's say 36, you get a really bright tone. And, sorry, here, it's really thin and bright. And this is the one that the dog only can hear. You can't hear it here. So these are the parameters in that setting with manual at 3.6. You can't say that this is not usable. It's usable if you have turned your manual down and you get the range of a really wide range. So for the common wah sounds, it's somewhere between 30, 35. That one. So this range. Then the peak parameter. The peak parameter is the Q factor. So that if you have it at the middle position, you get it. But it's not wah wah, it's wah wah wah. So not that nice one. You get it more. And really much. But this is out of the range of a normal wah pedal that we guitar players, the traditional guitar players like me, want to use. So in the Crybaby setup, it's 8.3. And then we have the peak range. And in the manual, the peak range parameter determines to what extent the position of the pedal influences the peak intensity. So that means get more peak or more Q factor when you have a higher value of peak range. So it's a really, extreme Q sound. So going much further than the normal pedals. and in the Crybaby it's -45. So you can adjust a lot with that parameter. Okay, so these are the main settings or the main parameters for the wah. Now let's check, and then further the mix level is now you can turn down the wah effect level and blend it over with the dry signal. I come to that later when I'm using some overdrive tones. Ducking is something you can use, but it will duck down the effect when you're playing. So I always use that at 0, so no ducking. And the volume parameter is very interesting because sometimes the wah and the boost of this mid frequency will boost the sound or the level that is coming into the preamp of the amplifier. And if you want to have a really clean sound, you might need to go a little bit down with the volume to get that clean sound, because it's, yeah, sometimes, and this is usual for wah pedals, they do some overdrive sounds because of this boosted mid frequency and in some places. So the volume parameter is very nice to have. So sometimes I'm using that for clean sounds at -1 or -1.1, something in that range. I know there is another guy sitting at the River Elbe who uses this one at another setting. But this is great to have. This is great to have. So you see different opportunities to use.
Of course, of course.
Okay. So next thing, let's see some situations. You have maybe the Cry Red setup, and you think, oh, it's a little bit too bright in the toe position. So then you just turn down a little bit the pedal range, so it's at +25. We're starting again, and I will switch it, turn it a little bit down then. So the normal setup here, then turning down a little bit, and you see it's 19 instead of 25. So this is very much, yeah, smoother. And this is a really small range to adjust. So small settings change very much. So this is the first thing. Then if you might like to have the heel sound a little bit lower, warmer, go down with the manual. Going further down. And then you might like to have this setting not that sharp, so going down with the range a little bit more to 17. And you get this warm, smooth sound. Just turning a little bit on pedal range and manual changes the sound of a wah totally. And this is from 29 to 19, and you see it here, original 29, and now we're 19 or 20, and the manual was original at 3.6, now turn it down to 3.2. So these are the small places to adjust this setting. If you like to have a little bit more wah or a little bit less wah, then turn down the peak, so it's getting more normal sounding. Or a little bit more, turning up the peak. and turning the mix level all the way up. So now I have turned a really bright sounding wah into a more muffled sound, low wah style with just a tiny bit. And this is the most problem with adjusting these wah setups. You can't do these wide range turns. Then you go into another place, these places where you are going. And I think I'm really curious about those settings. So another thing that I'm using with the wah is the mix parameter. Very interesting thing. You don't have that one at, I think at least one wah pedal uses a mix parameter. This is the Roger Meyer wah. I didn't have seen any other wah pedals which have a mix parameter. And this is really for overdrive sounds. Totally nice to have. So going back to the rig manager and taking this one here. And we have here, I think it's it was the real McCoy wah. And if you want to have a little bit more overdrive sound and less wah sound, then turn the mix level down. I will show you now. In the middle. So you hear the wah, but it's in combination with the dry amp signal, and that works really fine with overdrive sounds in any kind. High gain tones. Yes?
Yeah, cool. Could you turn this like to 9 o'clock and try again when morphing?
Morphing. To 9 o'clock? Okay.
Ah, yeah, cool.
And maximum is. So this is you don't really hear the wah effect that much. Yeah. So you get a really nice combination. So mine is always something between 3 o'clock and the maximum. So this
Yeah, there's one gentleman who's known for his extensive use of wah out there, even on tour currently, I think. And for him, I would really recommend this 9 or 10 a.m. position because then you would have, if you use it all the time, you have it a little bit more, embedded into your M tone, and it's not so, because with all these like really really special things, it can become a little bit annoying and stuff like this. So that's also the thing. Use it responsibly and season to taste.
And of course, if you have a good amp tone and you turn the wah on, it's a different sound. It takes, because of this mid boost stuff, it takes the tone away, and with this mix level you have the original tone, and it's more embedded in that tone, and you always also have this wah tone, wah sounding, but it's not that aggressive, and it's I think when I'm playing in band context, this is more cuts through. better when with overdrive sounds, when you have the mix level a little bit turned down at about 85 or something like that. So yeah, check it out, and yeah, try this on stage and at home. So I think these are my stuff for the pedal wah and the parameters. I think I will
Yeah.
give it up to you.
Yeah, maybe we go a little further, maybe, because you said it. If you have your M tone and that's where you are and where you use it for soloing, and you just want to have that wah effect for a little bit additional expression, then it's definitely the thing to adjust it with the parameters Thomas just showed, especially with the mix level. But it's also a tool that can go totally over the top, meaning you drastically change your M tone with the wah wah. And that goes back to the days when the wah was used to actually do this, with the fixed positions to change the M tones, because it boosts the mids and takes away the low end. And if you distort it and you run a booster on top of that into an amplifier, you basically get what the definition control in the profiler does, or what all the boutique amplifiers do. They tame the bass part of the signal before it goes into the distortion stages, and gets you this more modern boutique tone compared to the, you always say, woolly,
woolly muffled tone.
woolly muffled grunge original Fender tweed tone you have. And yeah, that's something you can use to boost also your amp, and you can add that wah effect aspect to that, or just stay pretty close to the tone and just have it as a boost. That's what I was doing with the Morley. I activated this contour mode and just had it around one frequency that just boosted based on the movement of the pedal.
Can also, if you like to have this, so going far away from the crybaby and the pedal stuff, you take the pedal mode off, adjust a frequency with the manual parameter that you want to boost, and then turn the volume up. So this is what you were laughing about me when I was doing the clean sounds. So you can, with the volume, you have a really great clean boost. So you don't need another booster. Turning the volume up boosts the level, then with the manual checking out which frequency range you want to boost, and then you are in the Michael Schenker area.
For example, yes.
For example.
Yeah, or I think, the UFO solo stuff, and or, Money for Nothing, this thing. You just hit the button, switch it on, and you have that frequency boost. Or when you want to be a little bit more flexible, and sometimes doing weird stuff for soundscapes or so, if you just run the noise that's generated with too much gain and too much hiss and hum from the guitar, send it into a delay, and modulate that with a wah and stuff like that, sometimes brings you interesting soundscape stuff. But so let's have a look. This is just like a semi-clean P90 sound with a little bit of reverb and stuff. And if I open the pickup, it's like this. That's neck. I thought this was pretty thin when I put this thing together, and I remembered, okay, there's the wah. What can I do to make this when it should go into the solo realms a little bit and make it thicker? And that's what I did. Even more intense on the neck pickup here. If I show you my, where is it? Here's the rig manager. See it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I took the manual pretty low.
Yeah, okay.
So it the wah effect starts already in the area where the basic tone of the guitar sits anyways. And yeah, with the peak, I decided on how far it goes. And also the pedal range, not too high.
Than on the Crybaby. Yeah.
Much more, yeah, but not too high that the tone doesn't get really weird.
Yeah.
And I just kept the peak range. I used a bypass at heel here because when you when with bypass on stop, when you just stay in one position, like it switches off automatically, and that's not wanted here. And then yeah, the mix is up, and this one is really important because you boost the amp big time.
Yeah.
Because you hear when the guitar is open. It's a little over it's a little over edge of breakup, but when I hit the wah, yeah, you just heard that you can do some weird stuff, and if you have room for that, I mean, that's of course not your go-to guitar tone when you play in a cover band or so. But if you want to do some drastic stuff, and you have a bass player and a drummer or something that goes with it, you know. If you sample that and do some weird things, like maybe a little bit in Tom Morello, areas, because if you add a little bit with a switch and you know, the kill switch and stuff like that, you can get some really cool stuff. It's cool for offering something different to the audience and to yourself when you want to have a good time, and you know, in between crank some speakers to have some quality time with tone and volume.
I have a question. Did you experiment with the position of the wah, because I just saw that you have on module 1 the booster, then the compressor, and then the wah, and not the wah in position 1, which is my favorite position because I'm using the mission pedal and always switch on A. That one.
Yeah, let's go to the thing quickly here. So, with me, the point is, and we had this, we had addressed this a little before when we talked about this, my go-to rig, which is exactly the one with not so many changes. Important for me is, and I realized a couple of days ago, I visited the famous producer in Berlin. He was asking about, various impedance, how that affects the rigs in the profiler. And I said, well, it's digital and it's a different beast. But with this one here, the Pure Booster as the first device in the chain, you can basically season to taste the range of the pickup dynamics before they reach the first stage, the input stage of the amplifier. And I usually have this engaged and switched it off, because then for my clean tones, let me just see. So the guitar is now, I know, barely open. It's clean, and if I open it, that's the breakup tone. If I switch this off, it falls apart a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, more distortion because more level.
Yeah.
But
Brighter then. Yeah.
it works in a way. I lose a little bit of that. You hear the difference of that punch.
Yes.
When I mute the strings with the left hand. So that's one thing, and then the compressor is actually doing not much, but also here then, weirdly enough, adding something, because the tone is different and the dynamics are a little bit tamed, which means that the low volume things are brought up a little bit into the scenario compared to if it would be off, if I switch that off. You see? I didn't change the setting on the guitar here. So it in a way does not much more distortion, but it helps to have the lower clean tones go better to the entire thing. Yeah, and then comes the wah, usually after this, because these things are the pre-tone and dynamics creation devices here. And then I do everything else, the wah, or, the tremolo is here. And then the stereo stuff behind the whole thing. And here, the amp also, it's, gain is kind of moderate. And then I have the morphing for some really, really strange stuff. And if you want to, let me just, so guitar is now pretty clean. It's the neck pickup. And I get in with the wah. Just into what is just happening quietly here. then if I open up or just sorry for that. And remember, I'm on headphones, so there are no speakers in this room. So the guitar starts to do its own thing. Of course, I had no idea, no clue what to do right now. But you can approach these extreme things as well, of course, with a concept. And
Great.
yeah, you know, the sky's the limit, and yeah.
It's totally interesting with this setup and with the compressor and the pure booster in some, let's say strange, not normal settings, but to use that as a tone shaper for the control of the volume or for the work with the volume knob on the guitar. That works really fine. And without the compressor, you wouldn't have these really clean tones at this level that they match to the overdrive tone. So they would be too low. So it's really great to have.
Yeah, and also what adds to this is, but that's not too much. We have the compressor in the amp. Let me go quickly that you guys can see that if you want to. So here, yeah, with the morph, I even increased the definition for the clean stuff. I like to have a lot of woolly bottom end, but for the solo stuff, I like to have that definition, that not too much chunky bass stuff is going to completely change my distortion. And then I have this compression in the amp section, which also helps to bring the clean tones when you close the guitar's volume, to bring them up a little bit. And then, a little bit of power sagging, but that's just homeopathic, as we say here. And yeah, that's about it. And then you can do weird stuff.
Of course.
And depends, of course, on what you're doing. And there's also more stuff that you can combine with that. I mean, we haven't. You could add the shapers to this and make some weird stuff. But this wah thing is, I don't know, this, you know, it's this old traditional effect. But if you take it to 11 in a way, you can shape a little bit of your expressiveness when you're soloing, and yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. So just take this into your equation as well, in a different way. So that helps sometimes. And especially if you keep the peak range a little bit low, then you can just add some oomph to your guitar. And you don't have to go that high. And with the volume up, you put this healthy amount of low, mid range and mid range to your solo tone. Yeah, try this at home, folks.
Definitely, and it's going far beyond the normal use of a wah pedal. So this is really great to have then, and yeah, to try different things to get some weirder sounds and to get some expressive sounds then.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that had something to do with it, because I just recently came up with that. I was at a little trade show in Berlin, and the lady who got an Oscar for the Joker soundtrack and also for the Chernobyl series and things like this. She was performing there, and she's a cellist, a cello player, and she had some weird thing. She had two speakers built into this weird cello with some tone generators, and used these tone generators with the speakers to engage the cello. So she didn't even use a bow. She just was touching the strings and then changing this tone generator. And she was just doing noise for 30 minutes, 40 minutes with a guy who was doing a little bit of using that stuff in synthesizers, making delays and things like this. But I thought, okay, with the profiler, the guitar, and these weird wah-wah things, you can also do a lot of noise and control it all yourself. And if you're bold and into the art aspect of performing, you can at least impress a lot of people. Yeah. So, and it adds to your toolbox of tastes.
Yes.
Like a chef.
Yeah.
Try Fusion Kitchen for once. Yeah. Okay. So that's basically about it. I mean, let us know what you think. I will create this rig and throw it up there with let me throw that rig at you moniker, LMT tray. You find it on the Rig Exchange, and I'm sure Thomas will share his stuff as well. So have fun at home and choose, how would you call it, enjoy responsibly, because you can do also extreme stuff. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. And if you have wishes or would like to know things, just let us know. Then I would say bye. And if Thomas hasn't anything to add.
I'm done. I'm really fine. I will try out your rig, of course.
Okay. Boom, chicka, wah, wah.
Yeah. So,
all right.
bye.
Take care. Bye.